Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. وإذ قال ربك للملائكة إني جاعل في الأرض خليفة قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون وعلم آدم الأسماء كلها ثم عرضهم على الملائكة وقال أنبئوني بأسماء هؤلاء إن كنتم صادقين قالوا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم قال يا آدم أنبئهم بأسمائهم فلما أنبأهم بأسمائهم قال ألم أقل لكم إني أعلم غيب السماوات والأرض وأعلم ما تبدون وما كنتم تكتمون وإذ قلنا للملائكة اسجدوا لآدم فسجدوا إلا إبليس أبى واستكبر وكان من الكافرين وإذ قلنا يا آدم اسكن أنت وزوجك الجنة وكلا منها حيث شئتم رغدا ولا تقربا هذه الشجرة فتكونا من الظالمين. These are some of the beginning ayahs of Surah Baqarah that I just recited. These ayahs have been interpreted in two different ways. The birth of the first man, Hazrat Adam, and some other ulama interpreted as the birth of Bani Adam, you and me. So today we are going to focus mostly on the birth of Bani Adam, you and me. According to these ayahs of the Holy Qur'an, the human life, first third, second third, and third third, three stages, 30%, 30%, and 30%. And some of these ayahs throw lights upon those three stages. The first stage of human life is mostly spent in acquisition of knowledge. It generally lasts from the time of birth to about 25 to 30 years. The second stage of human life lasts another 30 years, from 30 to about 60. And then the third stage is the retirement stage that everybody looks forward to after they have spent their time in this world of acquiring knowledge and putting it into practice. Let's talk about the first stage of life. The first stage of the ayahs I just narrated was Allama Adam al-Asma'a kullaha. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I taught Adam the names of everything. What is really meant by that is the knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us about this creation. When we talk about different disciplines of life, different knowledge, we name it. The knowledge of arithmetic is called mathematics. Then geography then algebra, and so on and so forth. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us the names, and all the disciplines have the names. This is the stage of acquisition of knowledge for you and me. And as our knowledge progresses, so do the names. Then you become doctor of medicine, you become doctor of engineering, you become PhD, you become a lawyer, you become an accountant, all different names. All different names. Every time you see a name, that tells us certain discipline, certain knowledge. When you say doctor of medicine, that means this individual has been trained in medical sciences. When you say somebody is an accountant, you say he's been trained in accountancy, and so on and so forth. Allama Adam al-Asma'a kullaha. That is the first stage of life. And the acquisition of knowledge generally takes about 30 years. I spent the elementary school, the high school, college, undergrad, and grad. It took me about 30 years before I became a cardiologist. And that's generally is true for most of the professions. It takes you about 1/3 of your life to acquire the knowledge that you can put into use during the second stage of your life. So the first 1/3 is spent in acquisition of knowledge. Then comes the time to put this knowledge into practice. I started my practice, I was 30 years old, and started my practice at that age. So, put all the knowledge that I learned the first 30 years. You develop a business, you get married, you have children, and so on and so forth. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا. So that is the description of the second stage Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described. The malaika. All the human actions, according to the Holy Qur'an, are being carried out by malaika. I have a whole separate lecture on angels. Maybe someday we could go there, but today I'm just going to say that every single action that a human being performs is mediated through malaika. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ. That means when he asked the malaika to become obedient to mankind, that means those malaika are going to carry out the wishes of man. Whatever he is thinking, whatever he wants to put into action, the malaika is going to carry out. And that describes the second stage of human life. After you have acquired all that knowledge during the first stage, then the malaika come into action. And so now you are in practical life. I went into medical practice. Other people go into teaching. Somebody becomes an accountant. Somebody becomes a lawyer, and so on and so forth. So the second 1/3 of life is generally spent in acquiring the wealth, accumulating the wealth with the guidance of the malaika, raising a family, having children, and so on and so forth. So the first 1/3 in acquisition of knowledge, the second 1/3 in applying that knowledge into practical life. Now you're 60 years old. Now comes the good part, retirement. Now comes the retirement, the time to rest. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا يَا آدَمُ اسْكُنْ أَنْتَ وَزَوْجُكَ الْجَنَّةَ. Very interesting ayat. The man and the wife are mentioned here. most of the people at my age, that's all we have left, me and my wife, that's it. All the children are gone, the grandchildren are gone, everybody's gone. That's a typical story of your retirement. You and your wife, that's it. Right? وَإِذْ يَا آدَمُ اسْكُنْ أَنْتَ وَزَوْجَكَ الْجَنَّةَ. Especially you and your wife is mentioned. In American language, it's called empty nesters. Everybody's gone. You and your wife is left. That's it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recognizes that too. So that is the final stage of your life where you're supposed to have peace of mind. Now you're resting. The Jannah of peace of mind. You have done all the struggle in life. You have acquired all that knowledge. You have put that knowledge into action. You have earned all that wealth, accumulated all those assets. The children are gone. You and your wife is left. That's it. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا يَا آدَمُ اسْكُنْ أَنْتَ وَزَوْجَكَ الْجَنَّةَ. In another place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the same thing. فَمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. The person who is God-fearing will have two Jannats. One in this life, one hereafter. And this life Jannah is the peace of mind. The Jannah of peace of mind. There is no better Jannah in this world than the peace of mind. And I can narrate examples after examples of people in this life who are billionaires and committed suicide. Billionaires. The best example of that is Christina Onassis. Christina was the daughter of Onassis, who was shipping tycoon, Greek shipping tycoon. When he died, he left $10 billion for this woman, the sole daughter of Onassis, Christina Onassis. She was 42 years old. She was worth $10 billion. And you know how she died? No peace of mind. No peace of mind. They found her in a bathtub, drug overdose, died from drug overdose. And there are examples after example. Ya Adam uskun anta wa zawjukal jannata. So, this is the last stage of your life. Now you are getting ready to retire, getting ready to enjoy life, getting ready to use all that wealth that you accumulated over the years. And besides that, the Jannah of peace of mind. وَمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. Two Jannats. So now you're deserving of that Jannat. And in this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala especially mentions not only you, but also your wife. That's my story, and that's the story of many of my friends. We are just left empty nester, me and my wife, that's it. I see several people sitting here that are just them and their wife is left behind, that's it. All the children are gone and the house is empty. Ya Adam uskun anta wa zawjukal jannata. So, these ayats are also, I interpreted them as mostly as the birth of Bani Adam, you and me. But they have also been interpreted by the original ayats of the birth of Hazrat Adam. And that is a subject of a different khutbah sometimes. So hopefully I can do it some other time. Rabbana آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. آمين.